The Nintendo Wii was the surprise hit gaming platform of the 7th generation of consoles. Its focus on motion control, introduced in the console's Wii mode, made it the perfect platform for family and party games. With Wii Fit, Nintendo gave consumers a way to exercise and have fun at the same time. Packaged with their balance board peripheral, the game has yoga, strength training, cardio, and balance games, and has even been used in assisted living facilities to help improve posture in the elderly. With over 22 million sold, Wii Fit is the 25th best-selling game overall, and 3rd best-selling single console game. Pokemon Gold and Silver were the second installments in the Pokemon franchise. Released in 2000 in North America for the Game Boy Color, the sequels were very well received by fans and sold almost as well as predecessors Pokemon Red and Blue. With over 100 new species of Pokemon introduced in the games, they quickly became a must-have for Game Boy owners. Pokemon Gold and Silver comes in at number 24, with 23 million copies sold. The Mario Kart series is among the most popular in Nintendo's history. Released in 2005 for the incredibly popular DS handheld, Mario Kart DS literally put head-to-head action in the hands of players. The game was praised for its sharp graphics and multiplayer gameplay, and went on to become the 3rd best-selling title ever for the DS. With over 23.5 million units sold, it's also the 23rd best-selling game of all time. The games that started it all, Pokemon Red and Blue, were released in Japan as Red and Green in 1996. They quickly took over Game Boys all over the country, then repeated the performance when released in North America in 1998. Fans are still crazy about Pokemon 2 decades later. It's become a multi-billion-dollar franchise with new movies, TV series, and games coming out every year. Guinness named Pokemon Red and Blue the best-selling RPG of all time, and it's number 22 on our list, with nearly 24 million sold. NINTENDOGS is a real-time pet simulation game released in 2005. It uses the console's microphone to allow players to train their pets, and use its wireless link-up to allow players to interact with each other. The game was praised for its innovation, and its success led to a spin-off toy line which included plush dolls and trading cards. Incredibly, the game is the 2nd best-selling title ever for the DS, and number 21 on our list, with sales of about 24 million. Released in 2010, KINECT Adventures gave Xbox 360 users a taste of the KINECT peripheral's capabilities. The motion control camera was a huge success for Microsoft, and KINECT Adventures had the advantage of being bundled with the unit. Its minigames challenged players to use the full motion of their bodies to navigate obstacles and complete puzzles. This party game went on to become the Xbox 360's best-selling title, selling 24 million copies worldwide. The 2012 sequel to Call of Duty Black Ops was highly anticipated by gamers. The game was initially released for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, and also became the first title in the Call of Duty franchise to get a port for Nintendo's Wii U. It was the first in the series to feature futuristic technology, and also improved on the previous title's multiplayer by allowing gamers to be matched with others of a similar skill level. At the time, it was the biggest entertainment launch ever. It grossed $500 million in the first week of sales, and would eventually sell 24.2 million units on its way to number 19 on our list. The most recent title on the list took the world by storm in 2016. Released for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, OVERWATCH is a robust online shooter with a detailed mythology. It pits players against each other in teams of 6, and it's notably the only title on this list that is exclusively online multiplayer. There is no single-player campaign mode. The game's creative character design and frequent free updates have kept the online battles raging, and the game selling like hotcakes. Overwatch is the 18th best-selling game ever after less than a year of release, selling 25 million copies. The Grand Theft Auto series will make multiple appearances here. Despite its title, GTA 4 is actually the 11th game in the series, and was highly anticipated after the breakout success of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. The 2005 Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 title was universally praised for its enormous and richly detailed open world, although it attracted criticism for some of the illegal activities players could take part in during the game, par for the course for this series. Some critics say that GTA 4 changed the landscape of gaming, and it's number 17 with 25 million units sold. Call of Duty Black Ops was released in 2010 to practically every platform in existence. Technically a sequel to Call of Duty World at War, Black Ops outsold its direct predecessor, 2009's Modern Warfare 2, by over 2 million copies in its opening week. The game expanded the Zombies mode introduced in World at War, and drew controversy for a mission in which players try to kill a young Fidel Castro. Being banned in Cuba didn't hurt the release, however, as critics and players were enthusiastic to the tune of 26.2 million copies sold worldwide. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 followed hot on the heels of the previous entry, released across platforms in winter 2011. A direct sequel to Modern Warfare 2, the game suffered from several pre-release leaks, as some shipments were mistakenly sent early to retailers, and a shipment of 6,000 pre-order copies was even stolen by masked gunmen in Paris. Despite these early bumps, its launch was the biggest of all time until it was surpassed by Black Ops 2 the following year, and it went on to sell 26.5 million copies. Released for the Xbox and PlayStation 2 in 2004, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is considered by many to be among the greatest games of all time. The game's physics and vast open world were a big improvement from previous entries, and it was also praised for its story, even if it also drew controversy for some risque sexual content. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is the top-selling game ever released for the PlayStation 2, the top-selling game console of all time, with some critics calling it the console's defining game. It clocks in at number 14 with sales of 27.5 million units. Wii Play was one of the launch titles for the Nintendo Wii, and it made good use of the Wii's unique gaming style. The 9 minigames basically served to introduce players to the types of actions that could be performed with the Wii mode, and some of these games even appeared as demos for the Wii at E3 in 2006. Even though the game received mixed reviews, it benefited from being launched aside Nintendo's incredibly popular console, and logged an amazing 28 million sales. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was an instant and smashing success with both fans and critics. Not only was it a great addition to the beloved series, it was the first ever Mario game to feature simultaneous multiplayer gameplay. Some critics hailed it as a good reason to buy a Wii for those not interested in the more party-oriented titles, and it became the console's 4th best-selling title with sales of over 29 million. The Diablo series is one of the most popular from powerhouse developer Blizzard Entertainment. The first 2 titles gained a following among hardcore gamers, as they were only released for PC and Mac. But 2012's Diablo 3 was also released for current and previous PlayStation and Xbox consoles, and sales went through the roof. The game was well received, although some complained that it required an internet connection to play due to its digital rights management. Despite this and some initial problems with the game servers, Diablo 3 sold an astounding 30 million copies. While Bethesda's Elder Scrolls series of RPGs had its fans before the 5th entry, nobody was quite prepared for the runaway success of Skyrim in 2011. The game ran on a new engine created specifically for it, as the development team hadn't been pleased with the look of the previous entry, Oblivion. Its artistic rendering combined with a deep story and the removal of the series' limiting class system made it an enormous critical success, and today it's generally considered to be among the very best games of all time. It sold over 30 million copies, with more to come. A port is planned for the Nintendo Switch in 2017. Released in 2006 for the Nintendo DS handheld, New Super Mario Bros. Was fairly well received by critics, although some found it to be less difficult compared to other Mario games. However, it was considered to be one of the best games available for the DS, which is the best-selling handheld and second best-selling console of any kind. New Super Mario Bros. Became a must-own for anyone who had a DS, propelling it to sales strong enough for number 9 on our list, nearly 31 million units sold. Wii Sports Resort was bundled with the Wii Motion Plus accessory and was one of the first games to require the peripheral. The 2009 sequel to the insanely popular Wii Sports introduced a ton of new minigames, including fencing, table tennis, basketball, and cycling. The Wii Motion Plus makes movement with the Wiimote more accurate, allowing for more nuanced gameplay. While it could be that any sequel to Wii Sports would have sold a ton, Wii Sports Resort is a great game in its own right and became the third best-selling title on the Wii, with nearly 33 million copies sold. Tetris needs no introduction, and it's the only title on this list to merit 2 separate entries, one for general cross-platform release and one specifically for the Nintendo Game Boy. The handheld console was durable, had long battery life, and a deep game library, all of which made it explosively popular when it debuted in 1989. Tetris came bundled with the console and found its way into the hearts of young gamers everywhere. The Game Boy version of Tetris alone clocks in at number 7 with 35 million sold. The second best-selling game for the Nintendo Wii is perhaps the best installment in a consistently great franchise. Mario Kart Wii was released in 2008 to widespread acclaim from fans. While some critics found it to be a bit boring, gamers appreciated that players of any skill could jump in and play, and it was also the first entry in the series to make use of the Wii's motion control capabilities for steering. It came bundled with the Wii Wheel, a steering wheel accessory players could use in place of the Wiimote. Fans were sold, and Mario Kart Wii went on to huge sales of over 36 million units. The 1985 NES classic Super Mario Bros. Has perhaps introduced more players to gaming than any other title. Easy to play, difficult to master, progressively tough, and endlessly imaginative. The game became a nearly instant pop culture phenomenon and drove sales of its console like few games had before. It single-handedly revived the North American video game market following the industry's legendary 1983 crash, and a poll 20 years after its release named it the greatest game of all time. Super Mario Bros. Sold over 40 million copies, making it the 5th best-selling game of all time. When it comes to open-world shooters, 2013's Grand Theft Auto V is the gold standard. A series known for its constant evolution introduced several amazing new features, including missions that deviate from the usual GTA structure, multiple playable characters, and the unique ability to switch between third-person and first-person mode. With a stunningly huge world and lovingly rendered graphics, GTA V quickly joined critical discussions of the best games ever made. It's posted the biggest sales numbers of this decade so far with a whopping 75 million units sold, and it's the 4th best-selling game ever. Released in winter 2006, bundled with the Wii console, Wii Sports introduced gamers of all ages to a new way to play. The Wii's motion control interface was like nothing brought to market before it, and Wii Sports perfectly took advantage of the new technology. Fun and easy to use, the Wii brought families together to game like no console ever had, and Wii Sports was usually at the center of the fun. The game was widely praised by fans and critics alike, and is the best-selling game ever released for a single console, nearly 83 million copies. The title briefly helped Nintendo eclipse Sony and Microsoft in console sales, and it's the 3rd best-selling game of all time. Minecraft is one of the most unique video games ever conceived of. Its open, procedurally generated world allows the player to build 3D constructs out of base building blocks and gives them no set objectives. It features various modes, monsters, and methods of online play that keep it fresh and endlessly entertaining, and became an instant success when it was released to PCs in 2011 and consoles in 2012. Its huge online community and fan base keep it in the public eye, and it's been made available for over a dozen platforms, including mobile, Apple TV, and the Nintendo Switch. With no signs of slowing down, Minecraft has sold a staggering 122 million copies to become the 2nd best-selling video game ever. The universally loved puzzle game Tetris destroys all challengers in sales numbers. After gaining massive popularity with its Game Boy release, the game has to date been ported to over 65 platforms and has found everlasting success as a mobile app. Its simple and addictive gameplay can now be enjoyed by anyone with a mobile phone, and its unbeatable sales numbers confirm its place as a cultural icon. Tetris has been purchased nearly 500 million times worldwide, making it hands down the best-selling game of all time.